Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today, Frontier announced the January update, which will be coming with a public beta test. Now the beta test is set to begin on the 27th of November and will end on the 2nd of December, so a 1 week period more or less there, and this will be accessible for PC users. Now Frontier are not able to offer this for console players just yet, but they are looking to offer console players a beta test for future updates. It's something they'll give us more information on in the future. Now the update itself, the January update, is not going to have anything much in the way of new content. We heard that a while back with the delay of fleet carriers. Instead, what this update is all about is bug fixing, and this will of course look at fixing long-standing bugs, stability issues, as well as disconnects, soft locks and crashes. It is something that the game is long in need of, so let's see how that goes. Now Frontier have also stated that this is just the first update for bug fixing, and there will be future updates concentrating on repairs to the game as well, and I'm personally expecting to see these in the first parts of next year, although there's no confirmation on that just yet. However, Frontier did say that these updates would be between 3 to 4 months apart. Now, the way Frontier have identified issues that they want to fix in the January update is by using the issue tracker and fixing the most highly reported or top voted issues from that. And with that in mind, they have listed a few of the fixes that are going into the game in their extensive forum posts. And there's quite a few good things going in here, so let's get to it and have a look at a few of those right now. So what I'll do for this is go down the list that Frontier have prepared on the forums. So the first of these is repairing Thargoid attacked stations. Not all delivery numbers are counted. This issue means that they're going to implement a fix that will correctly account for all deliveries for starports that have been attacked by Thargoids. Now as we go through these, you'll find out many of these issues are long-standing. The next one, for example, high-resolution screenshots create tiling artifacts in bright objects. And this is when you press Alt and F10 when in solo or private mode, or maybe it's only solo modes, I forget now. But basically, this creates 4K screenshots or 8K screenshots or even 16K screenshots, depending on what your current resolution is. Now, these always used to work very nice. They give some stunning screenshots, but for a very long while now, they give a tiling artifact on the final output, which is kind of a spolsy effect. So it's nice to see that is going to be fixed. The Galaxy map won't select systems I search for. We will implement a fix that should allow you to select a search system on the Galaxy map. That's been in for pretty much as long as I can remember that particular issue. The next one I've never personally encountered, keyboard stops working within the game. We'll implement a fix for this issue to ensure keyboards work in game as intended. Also, I've never really seen the next issue either. SLF female NPC crew member has no audio and no text in the comms, but this is obviously a very high-voted issue, so they're going to take a look at that. Now the next thing on the list here is to do with the FSS, or the Full Spectrum Scanner, or as some people call it, the FFS. But anyway, this was put in with the Chapter 4 update, and there was a bit of controversy over some people preferring the new method and some people wishing we'd kept the old method. But all that aside, one issue that has been pretty much got consensus across the board is that when scanning planets for geological or biological sites, it does take a very, very long time. This runs into the tens of seconds. And Frontier have explained that the reason this happens is that because every time you scan a planet that has a geological site or biological site on it, the game actually generates the stellar body, and it has to fully generate this in order to know the topography to know where these sites would actually be located. And this is what takes the game some time to do. Basically, when you're scanning the planet, it's actually generating it as well. So as a part of the January update, Frontier are going to implement a new alternative process to how this actually works. So instead of getting a guaranteed success rate for scanning planets that have got geological sites on them, instead what will happen is you'll get a new method which will inform you that it's either unlikely, likely, or very likely that the planet will have a geological or biological site. So this is stepping away from the way it works at the moment, where it tells you a guaranteed 100% certainty that the planet has a geological site, and it also tells you how many of them it would have. The advantages, though, from moving away from that is that the scan would be far quicker. Now, Frontier are aware that not all players are going to want a change like this, so what they're going to do is put this into the beta and allow players to test it out for themselves. They then judge the feedback and decide whether or not to implement this change. So effectively, the choice will be down to the players as to whether or not they want this particular change or whether they're happy to put up with the existing method. Now, next up are a bunch of things that Frontier will need tested by the players in order to know whether or not the fixes have actually worked. This is one of the purposes of having a beta test after all. The first of these is conflict zones with no contents. They have got a fix in place, but they need to see whether or not the issue still persists. After that, there's 3 Thargoid related issues. The first is the Thargoid Invisible Heart. After that is instance splitting when fighting Thargoid Interceptors, and then after that is a Thargoid Interceptor Heart Recycled Reset, or Heart Cycle Resets rather. Now, these 3 have been in the game pretty much ever since Thargoid Combat was introduced, so it's good to see these finally being addressed. However, Frontier do need support from the players during the beta in order to achieve that. Also, Frontier have stated that this isn't an exhaustive list, that there are many other fixes going in, but these are the ones that they wanted to list up front to let players know that are actually being fixed. They have also put a small list up of things that are going to be fixed in future updates, and these include 2 major issues with the lighting from local stars. That's the one where lighting is causing a tinting effect against the background. You may have noticed this in some of my videos, and I'm sure you've noticed it when playing for yourselves. Other issues are the Thargoid Interceptors giving their shutdown pulse without warning, core mining fragments glitching inside of the asteroids, wing mining, seismic charge malfunctions, chat icons displays 1 while no message is there, black screens after respawn in CQC game crashing. That's actually a pretty big one. I know a lot of people are going to say they don't play much CQC, but there are people out there who do play it and greatly enjoy it, and I know they've been having some rather significant issues with it over the years. Massive rubber banding of NPCs and players around stations and sometimes in other instances, and also the crystalline clusters disintegrate without producing materials. And finally, they go on to talk about issues with VR, particularly problems with the Pimax headsets and similar headsets that have non-parallel displays. And what's happening here is that there's double vision and incorrect rendering. So the bad news here is that Frontier have said that they're not going to fix this, that currently they got no plans to support any additional headsets, and that the only ones that they will continue to support are the officially supported platforms, which are the Valve Index, the HTC Vive, as well as Oculus. So that pretty much covers everything that we know so far. As yet, there's no release date for the January update, but they have said it's towards the end of January. And again, for the beta, that is starting on the 27th of November. It's going to be very easy to take part. There will simply be a new additional entry in the launcher where you'll be able to choose Elite Dangerous January Update Beta. So that brings us to the end of this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.